Hello and welcome to the episode of Merry Thanksgiving Christmas. So subscribe, hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any of the upcoming episodes. Make sure you check out my holidays playlist so you can get more recipes for the holiday. Here are some of the things that you're going to need. So I got some cornmeal, some baking powder, we got our milk, flour, some unsalted butter. I would have preferred to use salted butter, but I don't have any. So I'm going to use unsalted butter, whole stick. Got an egg that's already mixed. I'm going to melt that butter too, and then I have some sugar and some baking powder. These are the basic ingredients you will need. So let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to start by mixing all the dry ingredients first. So that's going to be the flour. Just dump that in there. Then I'm going to measure out our cornmeal because I didn't do that. Probably about a cup right there, so let me just even that out and make sure of it. A little under, maybe a little bit more in there. Okay, so we are good. So I've been wanting to do this video. I'm primarily doing it now because Thanksgiving's coming up. It's a couple days before Thanksgiving, me recording this. So I wanted to make sure that I did this video so you guys can have it for your cornbread stuffing. And I do have a recipe for that. I will leave the link above so that you guys can click on that for the rest of the broth that I make for it. And this is baking powder. That was the salt I just put in there. I'm putting in the baking powder now, so I'm gonna add that in. All right, so I'm just gonna mix everything up. So I'm gonna use my whisk to do that. All up. It's really easy, really simple. All right, so these are all our dry ingredients. All right, so let's move on to mixing everything that's wet together. And I already have my oven set to 400 degrees. Okay, so for the wet ingredients, I have some milk. Add that in there. And then I have my melted butter. I told you guys I was going to melt this. I finally melted the butter, so it's all melted up. That's 1 cup. Let me focus this thing. There we go. All right, add that in there. And use my whisk to get the rest of this stuff out of here. All right. And then I have my egg. Get it all out of there. And then I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons of honey. This is optional. So just a little extra bit of sweetness to the mixture. So just whisk that all up. Go ahead and add this into the dry mix now. So just pour that right in there. Mix that up as we pour it. You don't have to do that, but I just prefer to mix it as I pour it in. It smells so good. It smells really sweet, and I love sweet cornbread. My mom really didn't make sweet cornbread. She never really was like a sweet tooth person, and like I am, so I definitely prefer a sweet cornbread. Especially if you're making like stuffing. I like my stuffing with a little bit of balance of, you know, not too sweet, but I do love the sweetness in it. Basically, what you're going to use when you're making your cornbread stuffing, I mean, sometimes I'll use an already packaged one just to save time because I make so much food on that day. But for those who want to make a homemade one, I wanted to make sure I had this recipe for you guys. Measurements. If I don't leave the measurements in the description box, it's only because I said that everything I used and measurements I used in the video. But Those are primarily on my old ones. Now I usually put them in unless I forget to put it in the description box, but usually you can find links to other videos and the recipe in the description box. Now I'll just write the measurements because I basically tell you everything to do in the video. You just have to just, you know, I may forget to say the measurements. Okay, now that that's mixed really well, I'm gonna take my pan here. I've already sprayed some oil in there, so I'm just gonna spray a little bit of oil in here and use a paper towel. And I just move the oil around inside the pan just to make sure nothing sticks, but it's not that, it looks like it may be a lot, but it's really not. So it's just a little bit so that it doesn't stick to the corners. And this pan is really non-stick, so I mean, I think I'm good, but just to make sure, that's what I did. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and pour our mixture into this pan. I think this is a 10-inch round pan, maybe 9 or 10, I don't remember, so don't get me the line, but as you can see, it's enough. It's either a 9 or a 10. And you can use a cast iron skillet if you prefer. It's definitely enough for it to go in there. All right, so I'm just gonna thin that out right there. Just shake it like you're a DJ. Like, you hear that scratching? Because I'm a DJ. All right, guys, so it is ready to go in the oven. All right, everybody, so here is the cornbread. It's been in the oven for, I think, 25 minutes on 400 degrees, and I'm loving the color. You guys can leave it in lesser, you know, or more time if you prefer, but this was at 25 minutes, and of course you may use a different pan than I did, so you may want to start with 17 minutes and then gradually check after that to see how long you want to keep it in there, but this was at 25 minutes. So I'm gonna let this cool down. I'm actually gonna put it on a cooling rack. Let this cool down, and then I will cut into it so you guys can see it. Looking and smelling very, very good. All right, so I let the cornbread cool down, so I'm just gonna cut it. All right, so I cut this out the pan. I want you to see how thick and fluffy this cornbread is. I'm trying to get a clear shot on this. So look how thick it is and fluffy. And it tastes amazing. I'm eating this for dinner, so this is perfect for me. It's a little bit moist, and like I said, I left it in for 25 minutes. If you were making the stuffing, you want it a little bit firmer, so you could leave it a little bit longer. Don't burn it, but you could leave it in a little bit longer. So it has the perfect amount of flavors, not too sweet, just the perfect balance of sweet. I'm trying to zoom in so you guys can see how it looks here. Yeah, so this is my homemade recipe for cornbread. And I wanted to make sure you guys had it for Thanksgiving, just in case you want to have cornbread for Thanksgiving, or if you want to use it for your stuffing. It's up to you, or just dinner. You know what I'm saying? You can just, you know, have it. I'll show you what the bottom looks like. So it's like the perfect brown color. This is how cornbread is supposed to look. I'm loving it. All right, guys, so I thank you so much for tuning in today and watching me make my homemade cornbread. This is just in time for Thanksgiving. You guys can use this recipe, and again, the link to my stuffing, so how you can make the broth, will be in the description box. Look at that butter just dripping down. So I like to pour butter on the top. Of course, if you're using this for something, don't do that. I know that's really, really greedy right there, but I like butter on mine. Look at that. So again, I thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure you check out my other holiday playlist for more recipes, and leave me some comments. So I'll catch you guys on the next video, and I'll see you later. Bye.